Hi, my name is Habiba and welcome to Viva's Canadian Journey. If this is your first time of tuning in, thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe. It's very easy to do. Just hit the subscribe button and don't forget to press the bell icon. You can also follow me on Instagram on Viva's Canadian Journey and on Facebook, Viva's Canadian Journey. Today, I'm going to be sharing tips with you on how to ace your IELTS. So tips to help you ace the English language proficiency exam. I've said this a couple of times on my videos. I took the IELTS exam 3 times. The first time I got a band 7, second time I got a band 8, and the final and third time I got a band 10. And I keep telling people, learn from my mistakes. I share tips from my mistakes so that you can just take it the one time and ace it. So today I'm going to be providing some of those tips. So let's get started. So a number of people have actually been asking me to share these tips for the past couple of months since I started my channel. And honestly, I had been a bit hesitant to make a segment on tips to pass your IELTS because there is a lot of information out there. And for me, I just thought to myself, since just because these tips helped me does not mean it might help someone else. So I was very hesitant. When I come here and I do a show or I talk about something, I like to talk about things that have been tried and tested. So a couple of months ago, I think about August, a very good friend contacted me and told me she's ready to, make the move to Canada, ready to take her IELTS exams. And I was like, excellent. She wanted me to help her. And I said, you know what? You're going to be my case study. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you with the resources and materials I used. I'm going to, make a study guideline that I used. I'm going to share with you. And if you just trust me and please follow it bumper to bumper, so you'll be my case study for Viva's Canadian Journey. And a couple of weeks ago, her results came out and she got a band 9. And I was so excited. And after that, I thought, yes, it is time. Now I can share, my tips, things I learned from the mistakes I learned, so you don't have to make them again. So the first tip, is when you are choosing the date for your IELTS, please be smart about it. Choose a good date, okay? The IELTS are not running anywhere. Canada is not running away. In fact, the immigration projections is that Canada needs about 1 million plus immigrants for the next 2 or 3 years. Okay, so take your time when picking a date. This happened to me the first time. My husband and I started talking about this Canada, the whole Canada, coming to Canada May 2018. And I just got so excited. I'm like, okay, let's register for IELTS, let's take the exam. And I quickly registered in June. Okay, because I was so excited, I didn't think about it. And I did not do so well. So I told this to my colleague. I told her, listen, because she wanted to book her exam immediately as well. I said, no. When is your next holiday, your next leave from work, when you can have 1 week to yourself without any disturbance? Make sure that weekend, because usually the IELTS are on a Saturday. Let it be a weekend where there's no wedding, there's no ceremony, there's no church activity. A weekend where you don't, the weekend, there's no distraction. Where you can take a whole week off. I usually tell people, for this study of IELTS, give yourself at least 4 weeks. And a week before the exam, try and take that whole week off to just study and get into the mood. So my first tip is choose a good date. What I did the third time I took my exam was I filled in a leave request at work. Once my supervisor had signed off on that leave request, then I booked my IELTS exam the Saturday after the leave, and I made sure it was a period of, in time at work where I didn't have a lot of projects on my desk. There was no distraction. And when I was leaving for the leave, I told my colleagues, don't call me, except it's a matter of life and death. I'm going to attend to something important. So if you can do that. Please choose a date that you're not going to be distracted, a date where you know that you're going to be in an exam mode, because this IELTS, I keep telling people, no respecter of persons, you need to prepare, you need to practice. Number 2 tip, or number 2A, is for you to familiarize yourself with the format of the exam. You need to know the format that exam takes. Again, it's very easy for you to think, oh, it's an English exam. Maybe it's just to go there and write letters, it's to go there and do comprehension, it's to go there and speak and to listen. No. Again, that happened to me the first and second time. I did not truly soak in, the format that each component of the exam takes. This is extremely important. Now, for this tip, my go-to resource was IELTS Liz, and I'm going to recommend that. That's IELTSLIZ.com. If you just Google it, she will come up. I think she was a former English teacher. On her first page, on the IELTSLiz.com homepage, she explains what the IELTS exam is about. She breaks down the different components of the exam, and she explains the format and tells you, shows you what to expect. I think there's also a video to that regard. So this she was one of the resources I used. Very, very helpful, because the truth is, if you don't know what you're going to expect, you're going to go in there blindsided. That's just the truth. You need to know that yes, there's a comprehension part of it, the reading aspect. Yes, it is 1 hour, but the first segment, there are 3 segments. The first segment, you're supposed to do this. Second segment, this is expected. Third segment. When you have that at the back of your mind, you can prepare better. And being prepared, it's really going to help you. Okay, so understanding the format that the IELTS take, it's key. It's very crucial. What I would recommend is that the first, when you start studying, after you've registered, you've picked a good date and you start studying, the first hour or the first 2 hours, just take those 2 hours to soak in the format. Understand what is expected with the listening, understand what is expected with the writing. Just soak it in so that nothing could, so even when you're sleeping and somebody wakes you up and says, "Ooh, it's time for the listening exam," you know what is going to come first, what is going to come in the second part, what is going to come in the third part. That is really going to help you. 2B, and very important, is familiarize yourself with the scoring, how the IELTS are scored. This is going to help you a lot. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about this because I spoke about this in one of my other videos called IELTS 101. Please, if you're yet to watch it, this is really, really going to help you. You should watch this video. That video, IELTS 101, and this video is really going to help you in preparation for your IELTS. Now, what understanding the score does is that it helps you to target for higher marks. Okay, so for instance, at the federal level or even at the provincial nomination level, the minimum score for you to be eligible is a band 7. Now, somebody will say, okay, a band 7 means I get 6 in all the components. Excellent. Now, a band 7 will give you 64 points. Knowing that is very key. Now, you might think, yay, 64 points, that's good. However, if you have it at the back of your mind that as a single person, as a single applicant, there's 128 points for grabs, then you will know that 64 points is really child's play. You should be aiming for more. 64 points is just 50%. There's another 50% to aim for. I don't know about you, but when I was in secondary school or primary school, 50% is not even considered pass mark. I think pass mark was 70%. So IRCC have made, yes, 64 points, band 7, the pass mark. That's just the baseline, but you should aim for more. So when you know this, when you have this at the back of your head, then you can go into the exam hall knowing that you should be aiming for not a band 7, but higher band. Another thing that familiarizing yourself with the scores helps you do is it helps you understand each segment. I'm not going to talk a lot about this because I've spoken about it in my previous video, IELTS 101, and IELTS Liz also talks about this. When you know that, for instance, let's use the listening component. If you're aiming for a band 9, okay, and you know that for a band 9 for the listening, it means you have to get at least 38 or 37 over 40 for a band 9. Then when you are practicing, you know to aim high. So for instance, what happened to me was when I had started practicing the third time, and I was getting, let's say 34 over 50, 34 over 40 or 35 over 40 in the listening component, I'll be so mad at myself. I'll be like, Habiba, you have not arrived yet, because I knew what I was aiming for. I was aiming for a band 9 or a band 10. A couple of days before my exam, I started hitting 38 over 40, 39 over 40, and I was like, yes, this is what I've been looking for. So knowing the scores for each component, how the scoring is done, would help you, will help your mindset. So even when you're practicing, if you get 20 over 40 in listening, you know that you have a lot of hard work to do. Number 3 tip is practice. I cannot overemphasize the importance of practice. You need to practice for the exam. Don't be like me during my first and second attempt, when I just practiced a little bit and I thought, because I speak English, I have a degree in communications and English, a master's in communications, I'll just go there and, bamboozle the examiners. No, it's not like that. You need to practice. Yes, it is English. It is an English exam. But because the IELTS, body are expecting certain answers in certain ways, because there's a format to it, you need to prepare yourself. You need to practice. And that is why I started with the first tip. Book a date that it gives you time to practice. Don't just book tomorrow because you're in a hurry, because you want to submit your documents to IRCC. Don't just book a date because you want to enter the express entry pool sharp. IRCC is not running away. You need time to practice, and practice efficiently and effectively. Also, when practicing, practice smartly. Practice as though you're in the exam hall. Let me give you an example. A typical exam day, for those of you that haven't written it, a typical exam day, you go in there early in the morning. You usually start with the listening, 25 to 30 minutes. You're still seated. They take your paper. They bring the reading exam. You're still seated. You do it for 1 hour straight. Immediately, they take it. They bring the writing. You do it again for another 35 or is it to 40 minutes. Back to back like that. There's no time to get up. So when you're practicing, be timing yourself as though you're in the exam hall. Don't start practicing for the reading that's about an hour. You do like 10 minutes, then you stand up, you want to stretch, you want to eat, you now have a snack, you come back again and do about another 10 to 15 questions. You now get up, or you need to use the phone, or you want to make a phone call, or you need to use the bathroom. That is not an ideal situation. That is not a real life situation, because that is not going to, you're not going to be allowed to do all that in the exam hall. That's the truth. I don't know, maybe things have changed, but when I took mine in 2018, it was back to back to back. You want to use the toilet, you keep it, you hold it till you are done completely. So please, when practicing, yes, practice, but practice, time yourself and be honest with your timing. If you're doing a practice test and it says this is 60 minutes, time yourself for 55 minutes and see how you've done in that 15 minutes. Don't say, oh, you're gonna add some time, give yourself 65 or 70 minutes. You're not doing yourself any good. You're not getting a true reflection of what the exam is going to be. So please practice like a real life scenario, like you're in the exam hall. Practice, time yourself. And what I tell people is 2 or 3 days to the exam, when you're doing the practice test, sit down and practice all of them, all the 4 components. See how you do with time. Okay, see how you do with restlessness and concentration, because concentration is very key, especially for the listening exam. Another tip under practicing 3B is practice with genuine IELTS questions. Now, there's a lot of information online, a lot of IELTS information online on YouTube, okay? Now, some of them are kind of made up just to help people practice. However, what I did and what I will recommend, and I'm going to send you the link of some resources, is that you practice with genuine, IELTS questions as set by IELTS, the IELTS body, wherever they are located, okay? So that way you're not kind of digressing from the IELTS format, if you understand what I mean. So please practice with with real IELTS questions. Finally, number 4, tell yourself the truth. Okay, I was speaking to a lady the other day. She had registered for her IELTS. Thank God she gave herself, time. I think she registered for about 8 weeks in advance. And the first or second week, she told me, she said, Habiba, I'm still getting, when she calculates her scores, let's say for listening, she's still getting about 15 over 40, 20 over 40, and she's not doing well at all. And I said, you know what? I'm glad you're being honest with yourself. My recommendation would be to register at an IELTS training center in whichever state you're in, okay? And tell yourself the truth. If you need help with your English, if the self-practice and the self-study is not going to help you, you've started and you see that you're not making progress. Some people actually need people to hold their hands. I tell you the truth, if there was a math component to coming to Canada, like a math exam for coming to Canada, I will be the first to register in a math training class because I know where my strength is. So just tell yourself the truth. There's no shame. If you need to register in a training school or a training class, please do that so that it will help you. The ultimate goal is to score really high points. So please do that. And finally, I'm going to add that you are free to also get your own, search and look for your own resources. What I'm going to put here is I'm going to put a study guide that I used for myself and that I recommended to my friend. And like I said, a good go-to resource that I used almost every day before my exam was IELTS Liz. She has past questions on her page, very, very helpful. And E2 Learning. E2 Learning is an excellent platform. And then the number 2, E2 Learning. If you Google it, it's going to come up. What E2 Learning offer right now is they offer 1 month free classes. So please register. I highly recommend it. 1 month free IELTS classes online. So they have scheduled classes and there's a free one. There's a free package. Take advantage of that. It really, really helps with your writing. So I'm going to provide all those resources. I'm going to provide my guideline. It helped my colleague, and that's why I'm sharing it with everybody. And good luck with your IELTS exams. Until next time, I hope this segment has been really, really helpful. Do take care. Hi, my name is Habiba.